We continue now at the top of Daf Chaf Amar Aleph in Meseches Nazir. This is Nazir Daf 20a. On the previous summon in the Mishnah, there was a machlokus between Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel. Let's say a person declares a Nazirus outside of Eretz Yisrael and then comes to Eretz Yisrael. So Beis Shammai say they have to serve 30 days of Nazirus in Eretz Yisrael, and Beis Hillel say they have to serve the entire Nazirus again. And the Gemara is now in the middle of explaining the machlokus. Beis Hillel Savri and Beis Hillel hold, unlike Beis Shammai, Beis Hillel hold Mishum Avira Gazruela. It's not just the ground outside of Eretz Yisrael that is Tameh, it's also the airspace outside of Eretz Yisrael that is Tameh. And Rashi over here explains, the Gezerah even extends to the airspace outside of Eretz Yisrael. So the point is that it's a stricter kind of tumah than Beis Shammai hold. And that's why Beis Hillel say that the person has to start the Nazirus from the beginning. And the Gemara says, no, that's not really the explanation of the machlokas between Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel. Rather, it goes as follows: everybody agrees that it's just the earth outside of Eretz Yisrael that is tamei. Beis Shammai savri bestam nazirus kinisna, and Beis Shammai hold that the nazirus, the knas against you, is to do a stam nazirus, a standard 30-day nazirus. That's the knas. Beis Hillel savri and Beis Hillel hold ki kinisna betchilas nazirus. The fine, the knas is that the person has to start the nazirus over again. And Rashi says, lo de kuliyalma misham gusha gazru dekila tuma, meaning it's a lenient kind of tuma outside of Eretz Yisrael. V'haida amru lo de tahadr l'nazirusa, and the fact that they tell him to start the nazirus or to repeat the nazirus, kanasa bi'almahu de kansua, it's just a kanas. And again, the question just is the scope of the kanas. Does the person have to do the entire nazirus again, or just a standard 30-day term of nazirus? And the Gemara continues at the two dots, Maisa behilni hamalka v'chulu. The Mishnah said there was a story with Hilni Hamalka. So it said that Hilni Hamalka, she came to Eretz Yisrael, she served her 7-year term of Nazirus again, according to Beis Hillel. Then she became Tamei at the end, and she served an additional 7 years, and it was a total of 21 years. And then the Mishnah said that Rabbi Yehuda says she wasn't a Nazirah for 21 years, it was actually only 14 years. And so the Gemara says, Iboilahu, they had the following question. Now Rashi over here says, "Ibailu hada am Rabbi Yehuda to lo haisa nazira ela yud dalid b'shenitmeis kamer." When Rabbi Yehuda says that she was only a nazira for 14 years and not for the 21 years, so what exactly was the scenario over there? Ibailu b'shenitmeis v'aliyah de Beis Shammai. According to Rabbi Yehuda, is it that we're following Beis Shammai's opinion? She came to Eretz Yisrael and she became tamei, and that's why she had to serve an entire nazirus again. That's why it was a total of 14 years. In other words, Rabbi Yehuda is saying that Hilni Hamalka, really that story was following Beis Shammai, and the only reason she was serving again was because of Tumah. O Dilmor, maybe Bishalon Nitmis. Maybe the case was she didn't become Tamei at all. She didn't disqualify the Naziris at all in that fashion. It was only because she came to Eretz Yisrael, Ve'aliba de Beis Hillel, and it was following Beis Hillel, so it was 14 years. She had to serve the 7-year Naziris again. And Rashi over here says, Ve'aliba de Beis Shammai, meaning again, is it that she became Tamei and we were following Beis Shammai? Techasha also l'arz v'aisa osa lamed yom ke Beis Shammai, meaning she came to Eretz Yisrael, she was doing 30 days more, like Beis Shammai said, and nitmeis betumas meis, so then she became Tamei meis, v'sasras hakol, Adam did everything, v'yasta zayin shanim acherim kevatchil, and that's why she did another 7 years. Odilma b'shalonitmes, maybe she wasn't Tamei. Ela b'shvil shabasa b'eretz ha'amim, v'yasa l'Eretz Yisrael, the reason was because she came to Eretz Yisrael, hasta zayin shanim kevatchil, v'aliba de Beis Hillel. She did another 7 years of Nazirus, and that was following Beis Hillel. What exactly was Rabbi Yehuda saying? And the Gemara says, Tashma, come and hear a proof from the words of the Mishnah itself. The Mishnah said also, La'aretz v'oru Beis Hillel shatei Nazira, od sheva shanim acheres v'chulu. Again, the Mishnah said, according to the Tana Kama, she came to Eretz Yisrael. Beis Hillel said she should do another 7 years. She became Tamei. It was another 7 years. That was 21 years, and that's where Rabbi Yehuda said no, it was 14 years. Now, if you think that Rabbi Yehuda was talking about a situation where she became Tamei and we're following Beis Shammai, so Hihachi Rabbi Yehuda Omer Lo Haisa Nazira Ela Yud Daled Shana. If so, the Mishnah should not have said that Rabbi Yehuda says she was a Nazira for 14 years. Yud Daled Shana Ushloshim Yomi Boile. It should have actually been 14 years plus 30 days, because again, according to Beis Shammai, it's 30 days when you get to Eretz Yisrael, and then it would be 14 years for the Tumah. So again, it wouldn't be 14 years; it would be 14 years and 30 days. And the Gemara says, Tanya Nami Hach, we have a brisa that supports this as well, that Rabbi Yehuda is not following Beis Shammai, rather Rabbi Yehuda is following Beis Hillel, and it was 14 years because it was an additional 7 years for getting to Eretz Yisrael, because it says, Rabbi Yehuda Omer Mishum Rabbi Eliezer. Rabbi Yehuda says in the name of Rabbi Eliezer, Da Amar Kra, the Pasuk says, Zos Toras HaNazir, this is is the law of the Nazir. HaTorah amra ki nitma biyom los tein lo Torah's Nazir. The Torah says that if a person becomes tamei on the last day of the Nazirus, so then he's supposed to serve Torah's Nazir, meaning a 30-day term. The point over here is Rabbi Yehuda holds that if a person becomes tamei at the very end of the term, so they don't serve the entire term. They just serve 30 days. Now, if that is the case, if Rabbi Yehuda holds that the person is only serving 30 days, so if the case was going like Beis Shammai, and the case was she became tamei, so actually it would only be 30 days plus 30 days. It would be 30 days for entering Eretz Yisrael like Beis Shammai, and it would be 30 days like Rabbi Eliezer, Rabbi Yehuda in the name of Rabbi Eliezer, 30 days because the person became tamei at the end of the term, doesn't serve the whole thing again, it's only an additional 30 days. And so therefore you cannot say we're talking about a situation where she became tamei, because again, if she became tamei at the end of the term, she only serves another 30 days. We must say that the reason why she was serving another 7 years is we're following Beis Hillel, and it was simply because she entered Eretz Yisrael. And the Gemara continues with the Mishnah, Misha hayu shteiki te'edim mi'ido so. Let's say you have somebody, and there are two sets of witnesses that are testifying about him. Elu me'idim shenazar shtayim, ve'elu me'idim shenazar chamish. This set of witnesses says he declared 2 terms of Nazirus, and the other set of witnesses say he declared 5 terms of Nazirus. So Beis Shammai Omer and Beis Shammai say Nechliko ha'edus, the edus is split, v'yein kan Nazirus. There is no Nazirus whatsoever. Beis Hillel Omer and Beis Hillel say Yesh bechlal chamesh shtayim. Within 5 is 2, meaning everybody agrees there was at least 2 terms of Nazirus. Sheyehei Nazir shtayim. Therefore, he has to be a Nazir for 2 terms. And the Gemara says, Masnisan deloki aitana detanya. Our Mishnah does not follow the author of the following brisa. Rabbi Yishmael ben Oshel Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka Omer. Rabbi Yishmael, the son of Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka, says, he explains the machlokas Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel. Lo nechliku Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel al shtei kitei edim. Achas omer shtayim ve'achas omer es chomish. Sheyesh bechlal chomish shtayim. There's no machlokas Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel in a case where they have 2 sets of witnesses. One says 2 terms, one says 5 terms. Everybody agrees included in 5 terms is 2 terms, and he has to serve for 2 terms. What's the machlokas? It's if you have 1 set of edim, and it's a contradiction within that 1 set. One witness says 2 terms, one witness says 5 terms. Beis Shammai say the edus is split, and there's no Nazirus over here. Beis Hillel Omrim and Beis Hillel say yesh bechlal chamesh shtayim, included in 5 is 2, and therefore there are 2 terms of Nazirus. And the Gemara continues, Amar Rav says, Hakol modim b'mona. Everybody agrees in a situation where it is counted off. And the Gemara says, Amar le Rav Chama Rav Chisda. Rav Chama says to Rav Chisda, Maiko Amar. What does Rav mean by this when he says everybody agrees b'mona? Ilema, if you're going to say, he means as follows. Echad omer chamesh v'lo shtayim, ve'echad omer shtayim v'lo chamesh. Maybe he means, let's say one witness says that it was 5 terms and not 2 terms, and the other one says it was 2 terms and not 5 terms, meaning they're directly contradicting each other. So hakam mechashi adodi. In that case, there's a contradiction here. Of course, we won't accept the testimony in such a situation. It is obvious. Elo echad omer achas ushtayim. Rather, what Rav means is as follows. Let's say you have one witness saying that the way the person declared the Nazirus was he said 1 and 2, and then the other one says, no, he didn't say 1 and 2, he said 3, 4, and 5. And Rav is saying that in that situation, everybody agrees. And Rashi explains, Amar Rav says, Hakol modim b'mona, everybody agrees if it's counted off, shenechleka edusun, meaning in that situation, certainly the edus is going to be considered split, and we will not accept the testimony. The Gemara said, My Kamar, what does Rav mean? Even Ilema be'echad omer chamish, v'lo shtayim. If you're going to say the case is one when it says 5 and not 2, ve'echad omer shtayim, v'lo chamish, the other one says 2 and not 5, so that's pshita denechleka edusun. That's obvious that the testimony is split. Because they're contradicting each other. Rav would not have even needed to say that. Rather, the case is one of them says that it was declared as 1, 2, and 1 and 2 Nazirus terms. The other one said it was declared as 3, 4, and 5 Nazirus terms. And we will continue with this discussion in the next video on Daf Chaf Amud Beis.